have some family or other guests over to your home this Easter Sunday. And so this morning, we've got a delicious meal idea that will feed everyone and probably impress them too while you're at it. So Chef Ryan Hembree from Brewforia Beer Market is joining us this morning. Thanks. Good to have you again.
Absolutely.
It's been a while since you've been on the show. And a perfect, a very Easter-like meal, since we're talking about some lamb here today.
Very traditional.
Yeah, very Paschal and traditional, right?
Absolutely. Leg of lamb's really easy to do. It's actually a pretty quick roast to go because most lambs are pretty small. This one we just soaked overnight in a little bit of Greek yogurt. It has been butterflied. Now, if you don't have a butcher around to do that for you, that just means we're opening it up a little bit. And this one, it's going to look about like this when you get it. Just take your knife, open it up a little more like a book.
But like you said, the butcher can do that for you.
Butcher can do that for you, absolutely.
And where first, to start off, where can you find a leg of lamb? Is that pretty easy to find?
Just about anywhere in town this time of year. Absolutely. So we've coated it really good with yogurt, let it sit overnight with a little salt and pepper on it. Made our herb mixture. This is just basil, parsley, fresh garlic, Kalamata olives, and a little bit of oil. And
we've got those ingredients there on your screen as well. You just kind of threw all that together,
through a little bit of food processor, get a nice little paste out of it so it sticks together real good. And all we're going to do is fill up the inside of this lamb with this guy.
You're making this look so easy.
So easy.
Stuffing a lamb, and yet
stuffing a lamb.
Anytime a food processor is involved, you know it's going to make it easy.
Then it's just getting kind of rolled back up. Don't worry about getting it perfect or having great shape on that thing. That's what we're going to tie it for. Okay. Once it's rolled back up there, take your little strings you got pre-cut. We're going to tie these off on here in about 1-inch increments.
And what is the chef's knot of choice?
The chef's knot of choice, like tie a shoe on top of here. Okay, this is real easy.
You don't have to be a Boy Scout about it. Just get it to close.
Just get it to tie. We're going to tie it all the way down. Once it's tied all the way down, and you've got all your little ties along there, take some rosemary, stick it under the ties.
And these are like entire sprigs of rosemary.
These are just entire sprigs of rosemary.
You know, the stuff you're finding in a shaker.
Don't break it down. Just get them fresh out of the section. Okay, and these will all be going under the ties as they're on there.
And then just continue to tie those over.
Down.
Okay.
That'll protect the meat as it roasts, keep it from getting too browned off too early. Once that's all done on there, we're just going to take a little more of our yogurt. Okay, we're going to go right over the top of that rosemary.
Okay.
Just a little more moisture on there. Okay.
And just to reiterate, you said you would soak this overnight with the yogurt to begin with?
About half of our yogurt in the recipe is going to be rubbed on there overnight with some salt and pepper. Okay. Once it's ready to go like this, into the oven, about an hour and a half, 350 in the oven. Meat thermometer in the deepest part needs to come in about 130 for medium rare, a little more if you'd like it a little more done. Before it comes out, cut the garlic or cut the strings, get the rosemary off the top, let it brown on top. Comes out, beautiful, looks like this, nice brown on top.
And so this is the finished product, and it does look beautiful, by the way. So you've got it stuffed on the inside and everything, and you did say after you take the rosemary out, those sprigs out.
Finish it for about 15 more minutes and brown it up a little bit, because this is going to protect the meat really well on top.
Okay, and any suggestions, we're going to get to this later on the show as well, but any suggestions on what goes well with this? You've got your main dish, obviously.
Stick with hearty, earthy flavors. Mushrooms, potatoes, spinach, dark green vegetables, things like that. We're going to do a little spinach dish with this after the next segment.
And I love spinach as well, going well with there. So any of those hearty things that can go along with it. And hey, it's going to feed the whole family. You know, maybe you've been eating some candy or been doing some egg searching, all that kind of stuff. So this is something that's a good option for the whole family. What would you, I mean, I guess it depends on how much people eat, but this would probably feed...
Typically going to feed 8 to 10.
8 to 10 people right here. So that's a big gathering.
Absolutely.
For a big family if you have people coming over. So make sure you grab your Greek yogurt. You're going to want your rosemary as well on the outside. And again, we'll have those items for the stuffing inside. This, what would you call it, a paste or just
herb paste?
The herb paste. We've got those ingredients that we'll post for you this morning on IdahoOnYourSide.com. So you can just get this thing going. Like a lamb shouldn't be too hard to find this time of year, right? All right, so we're going to have more with the spinach, like you said, a perfect side to go along with your roast feast for Easter with Chef Hembree. Thanks so much for getting us started off this morning. And Chef Ryan Hembree from Brewforia Beer Market is just making us hungry. But that's okay, because your job is to quench hunger as well, and you're very good at it as well. So thanks for sticking with us here for another segment, because earlier you made this beautiful creation over here, a stuffed leg of lamb. You got some olives, some Greek yogurt, some rosemary, lots of things in there. We've got that roasted. You're feeding your family or group of, say, what'd you say, 8 to 10? 8 to 10 people that could feed, but you need something to go with it, right?
Need something to go with it. This is quick, simple, really delicious. The big thing with the roast is when you pull it out of the oven, you want to let it rest for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So you've got some time. Let's make our side dish.
Yeah, because this isn't going to take
long at all. This isn't going to take very long at all. So what we did is we take a little bit of those pan drippings out of the pan. We get it going in there so it gets nice and hot. Just a little bit of the fat off the top of that lamb.
Which, by the way, are you wanting to cook that lamb in a raised pan at all, or just right there in the bottom of it?
A little screen on the roasting rack for sure. We're going to just put some pine nuts in here, kind of toast them up in a little bit of that nice fat coming off the lamb.
And a certain spot in the store people need to look for pine nuts? I've never purchased
You know,
those.
they're kind of all over. You can find them sometimes in the baking area, sometimes over, I think I found these in the salad area last night by the pre-made salads.
So you may have to ask depending on what store you're heading to, right?
Absolutely, ask around. A lot of times the bulk area is a great place to look for those as well. Get a little bit better deal on them. We don't have to go very long here. They cook up really, really quick. We'll see if we can turn that a little bit. They just get a nice little foam on them.
And they're kind of, are they softer to begin with anyway?
They're a little softer to begin with. You can see just some color starting to form on those there. Once that color gets on there, that's about as far as we want to go with the pine nuts before we do our next step. A little bit of mustard. Now I'm at a beer store, so I'm going to use Sierra Nevada mustard here. But a couple little tablespoons of the mustard. Just in there with the pine nuts.
Starting to get some flavor going in there as well.
Just starting to get a little bit of flavor going in there. We're going to stir it down.
That sizzle.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of jus out of the pan as well. That's just the juice that's coming off the lamb.
Okay.
Just to get some liquid in there so we get some good steam going for that spinach.
And just because some people wonder, you know, there's often TV magic where you have things prepared ahead of time. You're doing this all in real time, right?
Right here. In fact, I'm going to have you put the spinach in there for me.
Just a couple bags of baby spinach,
just
right?
Just a couple bags of baby spinach. Yep, and just stuff it right in there.
This is exactly how long it will take, folks. It's not going to take too long at all.
And you want to use a nice big pot here because this is going to fill it up pretty quick.
Okay.
But the spinach does wilt down.
Yeah, it does.
So you go. If we don't fit it all in there right away, it's all right. We'll stir it down a little bit here. We're going to start wilting down. You can see it starting to shrink in size there.
It is interesting how much wilting you get from a bag this size to.
Absolutely. Go ahead and add
see what this looks like
some more in there. And just kind of keep adding it, keep stirring it down. That little steam coming off is going to be really nice. Fold it up through.
And really, too, it's really just going to be a nice complement to the lamb, I think, because you've got it's obviously a ton of greens, but then the pine nuts, are they going to have kind of the
really nice toasty in there, and then the mustard, just sticking with that theme of really nice big earthy flavors. You know, really complements with the lamb. This just fills out the flavors of the lamb. This is going to add a little bit of more moisture to your plate too. You know, get a little bite of lamb, a little bite of this wilted spinach in there.
And it smells amazing.
And you can just see how it's wilting down. We don't want to go too far with this. As we cook this down, you start to lose some of that nutritional value as you cook your greens down. So we want to keep this just really nice and big here. Just some bits of wilted in there, a little bit of a little more crisp spinach as well. So we've got some textural difference going on as well. And that's about as far down as I'm going to cook that. So we can pull a little bit of that out here. Just so you can see some wilt. You get a little bit of the pine nuts in there.
And you talk about that textural difference right there that my wife always makes fun of. She calls me the texture king because I want certain things crispy or I want certain things soft.
Some crispy, some soft.
And she laughs because she's all about the flavor, but you know, you kind of combine the two a little bit.
And a little bit of the crunch from the pine nuts and a little bit of the crispy spinach as it sits there with the lamb. Load it up on a platter, put the lamb on top, serve the family. Everybody will be happy.
Awesome. And like we said, it's going to feed everybody, but you're really going to probably impress them too. They're going, dang, where'd you learn how to make this, right? And if you need any other ideas, maybe some potatoes or something like you said to go along with it too. So.